Today we're doing the front shocks on this 2007 Toyota Solara. Now this is the same setup you're going to find in a Toyota Avalon of that era, Camry, Lexus CS 300 and 330. But there are some tips and tricks so that a simple front shock job doesn't turn into a nightmare, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I had already started the front shock spring assembly on this Toyota Solara on the left side, so that I would make the video for the right side to show you guys what it looked like. But it was supposed to be a simple job turned into a nightmare because I didn't heed or follow the warning that came on the maintenance manual, where it said right here, be careful not to overextend the inner CV joint. Otherwise, you know what happens? This happens right here. And on a weekend when it's raining out and parts are not available, this is what happens, and I don't have any clamps, and I don't have any grease, and I don't have the means to service this or put this back together. So I ended up having to buy another dry shaft right here in order not only buy the dry shaft, but then I had to buy a new seal, and I had to get the oil to top off the transmission. So what was supposed to be a simple shock job is turning into something else. Now, the procedures tells you what to do and how to do it, but what we're going to cover today on the right side, the passenger side, we're going to take a couple extra steps, especially if you're new at this, and learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to deal with this dry shaft and seals and whatnot, and instead just do the shock. So let me show you. Before we dive into the job, let's talk some part numbers and prices for 2025. And tooling of what it takes for you to get this job done. So I went on PartsGeek to get these parts, partsgeek.com, and for the front shocks, and it does come with the link, stabilizer link rods. Here, this is what it looks like right here. You're going to get your front shocks and the two link rods, and you're looking at about $200 free shipping, some taxes. You're looking at about $220 for 2025 prices. Get yourself one of these. It will have all the torque specs for the job. This is for a Toyota Camry 2002 to 2006, but it also covers, you can see, the Solara from 2002 to 2008. This is a 2007 model, and it covers, of course, the Avalon and a Lexus ES 300, 330 from 02 to 06. Get yourself one of these, guys. Get yourself one of these. If you were to get just the shocks alone, I got mine from Detroit Axle. They're made in China, but this is a daily driver for the wife. Part number for the left and right, 532307 for the left, 532308 for the right side front shocks. So now that we covered the prices, part numbers, and what you get, and what you'll need to get the job done, let's talk some tooling. Tools. Here they are right here, guys. This is what you're going to need to get the job done. A lot of basic stuff. Stuff that would really help you to go quick on the job is get yourself one of these, guys. This is the best present I bought for myself. It's a 1/2-inch drive impact from Milwaukee. Got a set of sockets to go with it. Ooh, let me tell you guys, it makes life a whole lot easier. 1/2-inch drive ratchet. You're going to need a 3/8 drive ratchet that I am. Oh, here it is right here. You're going to need 17 and 18 millimeter wrenches, punches, and I'll show you why. You're going to need a hammer, 22 millimeter impact socket and extensions, and I'll show you why. 22 millimeter wrench, 1/4-inch drive at 10 and 12 millimeter sockets. This is to pop out ball joints, and I'll show you why. This right here, 30 millimeter 12-point deep socket, and that's for this right here. Some of them come with the little cotter pin. This one comes, it's a 12-point, and you're going to have to bend the tab, and I'll show you how to do all of that. Dikes, of course. Crowbar. Now, some people, I'll show you what I'm using this for. Some people, what they do, they'll put the screwdriver in here to torque this nut, or you could just put the crowbar like I'm doing through the studs of the wheels. 6 millimeter Allen, and I'll show you why. Key elements to get the job done right. This right here is a 3/8 drive torque wrench. Mine is torqued clockwise and counterclockwise. I didn't have a torque wrench that goes to 250 foot-pounds, but if you go to AutoZone, you can borrow one. You just have to put a deposit, and then they'll give you the money back when you're done. This right here is it's not calibrated, unfortunately, but it will do the job done. For the tie rod, You're gonna need some cotter pins. Actually, only one cotter pin for this tie rod right here. I don't know if you can see it. See, we're gonna break loose this one again. Part number 4. There's MS20. Sorry. Part number 4. There's MS24 655-285, possibly even 300. Will get the job done. So we covered prices. We covered parts. We covered tooling. Now let's jump on taking this shock off, and I'm gonna show you what it takes to get this job done right, especially if it's your first time doing it. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna break torque on everything and get this thing ready. So I'll start out with the 30mm nut. Sorry guys, that was loud. Separating the strut from the knuckle. That takes a 22. We'll remove the harnesses that are in the way. This one has ABS, so there's a harness that connects to the strut. It's a 12mm. And it's a bracket here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, let me show you. It's in the front here. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? No, you can't quite see it. Can you see it? Here it is right here. What that'll do, it'll the objective right now is to break all torques, like I said, and move everything out of the way. Now we'll move back to loosening up the speed sensor for the ABS. Sorry, I'm moving you guys around. Bear with me. Alright, so that's loose right here. There's a 10mm down here. Hopefully this will do it. Get that out of the way as well. There's another bolt way up here that's also a 12, and that'll totally get everything out of the way, which is what you want to do, guys. It's way up on the wall over here. I think it's a 12. No, it's a 10. Sorry. Where's that? Bolt back in the wall so we don't lose anything. Okay, this is all out of the way. Okay. Now what I'm also gonna do, like I said, I had a bad experience on the left side, so I'm gonna take some precautions and disconnect the tie rod and disconnect this part here, and there's these 3 17mm nuts. I don't know if you can see them. See these right here? Let me see right here. See it? I'm gonna break torque on these ones too, and I'll show you. They're also 17mm again. Boy, that impact makes all the difference in the world. The job goes fast if you know what you're doing, you know how to do it, and you don't break anything like I did. Where I now ended up. Okay, so we do have. We talked about this tool before. This is where you break ball joints with it. It's by. I like this thing. This tool is by GW3916D is the part number 4. I think is the gear wrench. Here it is right here. Makes the job a whole lot easier. Now the strut on the very top, where the stabilizer bar under the hood is a 14mm, but the new The new strut came with 15. Oh, there it is. That one was quick. Okay, so we got this done. This is Brook torque. Like I said, the ones on the bottom here. That's it. We got all that out of the way. Hopefully, then we'll make taking this baby apart, this shock apart, easier. Oh, now what we're gonna do is we gotta punch this axle through here. We will do that. I use a brass punch with a sledgehammer, like so. Oh, just don't hit your fingers like I just did. It's going in. And here it is. It is mobile. All right, just about, guys, just about. Oh, we can now disconnect this link rod here. You're gonna need a 6mm. Well, in this case, this one came with a. This is probably the original. So what I'll do is I'll use a 6mm Allen key. You can see this assembly goes fast, especially when you have a tooling, you know, it goes a lot faster. Hopefully. Getting a new one, so this can pop out. We can now separate the bottom bolt joint, 3 bolts from the lower frame. What we'll do is push the drive shaft out. Let's make sure we don't make the same mistake as before. Punch out these pins. Okay. Just about done. Okay, we can now separate the. This is the part that's a little tricky because this sucker is heavy. Struggle is real. Maybe we could leave it like this. That is what I wanted to do. Alright, the shock is free, guys. Whew, that was tough. Now there is these 3 14mm bolts on top here, and the shock is coming down. 14mm. God, I love this thing. Alright, last one. I'm going to hold the strut with one hand and loosen up the other one. It's out. Now let's put the new one in, guys. Put the new one in. Let us be super careful with the dry shaft, because that was the problem last time. Okay, we can now put the new shock in. Well, shock and spring assembly anyway. Now, like I said in the beginning, this Detroit, forget the name of the rest of this Detroit, whatever this brand is, comes with its own hardware. So I took off the 14s, and I'm gonna put the new ones. They're 15s. It's a little on the heavy side. I'm not gonna tighten these until the car goes back on its wheels. All right, we can now move back on the bottom. Next, we hook up the knuckle on the shock. Let's see if we can do this, because this thing is kind of heavy. I was struggling with it earlier. Bolts go front to back. That wasn't so bad. All right. We got the knuckle back on a shock. We can now insert the dry shaft. I did put some anti-seize compound on the dry shaft. There we go. There we go. Put the nut on it. It doesn't move around too much. Alright. We can now connect the bottom for the ball joint, bottom bracket. Let's see if we can get you some light. I gotta tell you guys, that almost fell out of the, if you can believe it, the drive shaft almost fell out of this one too. Anyway, we are, let's connect everything. I'll connect the tie rod. Like so. All right. We'll snug down the drive shaft. All right, tighten these down too. They're also at 22. A little loud. As always, bolts always go from front to back, top to bottom, and inboard to outboard. And what you're torquing is always the nuts, not the bolt. All right. Reinstall the Alright, we can start torquing everything down now. We got everything snug. And then we'll worry about the harnesses and hydraulic lines and whatnot. Okay, next is the nuts and bolts that connect the bolt joint to the control arm, 55 foot-pounds. Let's snug these down first. There it is, 1, 2, and 3. There you go. Tie rod end to the steering knuckle, also 17 millimeter. That's 36 foot-pounds. Here it is, and it's aligned too. Beautiful. Cotter pin, we're going to use a MS24 665 -285. Where are you? That fits beautiful. Look at that. We can bend it with our fingers. We'll cut it with the dikes. Make sure it's nice and flush. Let's not hurt anybody. The next person's gonna be working on this car. Always look out for the next mechanic. Yes, that's in. Next is the shock to the steering knuckle, 155 foot-pounds. Put an extension on it. I'll make it a little easier. There it goes, 155 foot-pounds. Next, we can do the axle nut. That's 200 and, stand by, let me double check. 217 foot-pounds. Okay, 217 foot-pounds. Unlike the left side, on the right side, I'm going to put a screwdriver through the rotor and torque it like so. There it is. It's torqued, baby. It's torqued. Now what we have to do, though, is we have to bend where the, I don't know if you can see here, I'm going to show you. Right here. Once we torqued it, we're going to bend with a hammer and a punch the nut into this groove so that the nut doesn't come off. Other designs have a cotter pin with some kind of like a castellated, like a washer nut looking thing. This one you have to bend the nut, so let's do that. There it is, one. Make sure it doesn't move. There it is. This thing is not going anywhere. Now we can reconnect the harness and hydraulic line to the back on the knuckle. That took it all off. 10 millimeter. This one here is very being a pain. No pain, no gain. Like Mr. T used to say. I don't know if y'all remember Mr. T from the A-Team. That's a good show. I like that. I grew up with that kind of stuff. I grew up with that show. And this is it, guys. This is what it takes. This is what it takes to get this job done. Okay, now we got this in. We can now put the upper bracket that we also had to disconnect it up here. Y'all can't see it. I don't see it right up here. $10mm. Okay. That's also in. This is in. This is in. This is torqued. All we have left to do now, guys, is connect the link rod here from here to the stabilizer bar. Lastly, we connect the stabilizer bar link rod, and we torque that to 55 foot-pounds. We snug it first. Again, we go to 55 foot-pounds. Top, same as bottom. There we go. And we'll do the same thing on the bottom. So once we torque down the top and bottom of the stabilizer bar link rod, this new one does come with grease fittings. I don't have any grease for my grease gun, so I'm going to have to wait until the next opportunity. Again, these get torqued to 55 foot-pounds. Touch everything. There's something about touching the hardware that it reminds you if you torqued it or not. So this is torqued. We got this torqued under here, right? Remember? We got this part done. This is all done. We got this part done as well. All there's left to do right now is the harness is all connected. You see it? Let me show you. This is what I was talking about for the harness. You have a bolt up here, 10 millimeter. You have another one down here. This is a 12 millimeter. Be mindful of how this is stacked, and it has some lock tabs in it. And then you have this last one over here. This is your 10 millimeter for the speed sensor. This kind of clips in. And all there is left to do right now, we're going to put the wheels back on, and then we'll torque. Once we get it off the jacks, we'll torque these nuts right here on both sides. Last we put the wheels on before we down jack and torque. We can now down jack and torque the wheels. When you tighten the wheels, it's always a cross pattern. Torque on the wheels is 76 foot-pounds. Double check. 1. Good to go. Lastly, it's the top of the struts. These went from 14 millimeter to 15 millimeter nuts. The torque on these is 59 foot-pounds. Weight on wheels. The car is off the jacks. Gonna torque these babies down. There we go. Now what we did on the right, you do on the left. Next week now, I'm doing the rear shocks on this 2007 Solara, so stay tuned for that. The job is similar, but a little bit different. The access points are different. There's no dry shafts, thank God for that. And be sure to subscribe to this channel, smash that like button, and we'll see you at the next video, guys. Take care.